Hey there. Last night, my family and I were outside enjoying a little bit of family time together, enjoying the beautiful weather. And my 3-year-old comes over to me with a couple of rocks in his hand, and he says, "Hey, Dad, I need you to hold my rocks. These are my special rocks. Can you hold them?" Now, I look around, and these two rocks look exactly like all the other rocks that are laying around. There's like tons of these rocks. And so I, of course, say, "I'm not holding your rocks. What are you talking about? Those are just rocks." And then, he gets a little sad. So I'm like, "Well, how about you make a special place for your rocks over there?" And so he did. He took his special rocks and set them aside. And I was thinking about that today because the Bible actually compares Jesus to a rock, maybe kind of like that, a rock that some consider precious, but some rejected. First Peter chapter 2 talks about this. It says that you come to him, coming to Jesus, as to a living stone which has been rejected by men, but is choice and precious in the sight of God. You also, as living stones, are being built up as a spiritual house for a holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. For this is contained in Scriptures, "Behold, I lay in Zion a choice stone, a precious stone, and he who believes in him will not be disappointed." Now, this stone that Jesus is being compared to is not the little rocks that my son had. This is probably talking about stones that could be built with, something more in construction. Peter's talking about you're being built up as a spiritual house. But he's making this analogy. He's comparing Jesus, and he uses several different references to this, several different types of stones. He compares Jesus to our stone. And I just want to point out some of the significance here. That first of all, this is a stone unlike any other. In verse 4, he says that Jesus is our living stone. Jesus is indeed what we go to build our life upon, but he's different than everything else we might build our life upon. He is living. He is the living stone. And so we want to remember that about Jesus. He's our living stone. He's the, verse 6, he's the cornerstone, or we might call this the foundation stone. My son's picking up these little pebbles. This is talking about one giant stone that this house could be built upon. It is the foundation of everything. And so in your life, you need to remember that you are coming to Jesus, and he is the thing that you build your life upon. Life built on anything other than a foundation of Jesus Christ is an empty, worthless life. We need to build upon him as our foundation. He's also, in verse 7, uses the word cornerstone again. This is really talking about the capstone. So the foundation stone is the first stone laid. The capstone is the last stone laid. And so this is letting us know that Jesus is the foundation of our life. He's also the end goal of our life. He is what we're aiming for. He is what we're pursuing with our lives. As Scripture says, he's the beginning and the end. He is that first stone. He is the final stone. And so what we see here is that Jesus is our everything. He is meant to be everything to you. But he's also the stone that causes men to stumble. Now, he doesn't cause you and I to stumble if we are believing in him, but he causes those who reject him to stumble. It basically means that the very object that should be our salvation is the doom of those who reject it, because he is said to be the stone that is rejected by many men. Now, some see him as precious. God has chosen him and selected him. He is that precious living stone, but many reject him. But to those of us who believe, and this is where that comparison to my little boy comes in again, to those of us who believe, in verse 7, he has precious value. And so this is that precious stone that you and I have. This is letting us know that Jesus is the most important thing in our lives. He is what we build our life on. He's what we pursue with our lives. And I hope that, just like Peter's saying here in this passage of Scripture, I hope that to you, Jesus is the most precious thing in your life. Ask yourself today, is Jesus my precious living foundation stone? Is he the everything in my life?